Welcome to today's deep dive into the world of AI. It's incredible how much this technology is changing our lives.
I know, right? It's not just robots taking over the world, although that's always a fun thought.
Totally. But no, today we're looking at how AI is already making a difference in fields like healthcare and agriculture.
And even art. We'll be exploring some fascinating sources that highlight the transformative potential of AI. Like, did you hear about this MIT algorithm? It can predict diseases with 90% accuracy.
90%. Seriously. That's and a little bit scary, to be honest. What are the ethical considerations there? Like, who has access to this data? Could it be used for discrimination?
Definitely something to think about. We'll delve into those questions later in the show.
Okay, good. 'Cause that's a whole can of worms for sure. So what makes this algorithm so special? Is it just the amount of data they have?
It's a huge factor.
Yeah.
The MIT researchers had access to millions of electronic health records, genetic information, lifestyle data, like way more than you'd think is relevant.
Whoa. But how does the algorithm actually work? I mean, I get that it's using machine learning, but like, walk me through it.
Sure. Imagine the algorithm as a student. It gets trained on this massive data set, learns to identify all these subtle connections between different variables.
Okay, so it's picking up on things that humans might miss.
Exactly. When it sees a new patient's data, it compares it to all those patterns it's learned and predicts the likelihood of certain diseases.
That's incredible. So earlier detection, more effective treatment, potentially saving lives. Wow.
It's really exciting. But like you mentioned earlier, there are some big questions about the implications of this kind of technology.
Absolutely. Data privacy, equitable access, all that stuff. It's crucial to talk about it.
Couldn't agree more. And that's where you, our listeners, come in. We want to hear your thoughts on the implications of AI in healthcare.
Head over to @AI for the People and share your perspective. We're building a community of AI enthusiasts, and your voice matters.
We'll be checking the comments and having more discussions throughout the show.
Awesome. Now let's switch gears a bit and talk about AI's impact on another really important area, farming.
Farming. That's interesting. I always think of it as a very traditional industry, but I guess AI is shaking things up there too.
Oh yeah, big time. There's this company, Agritech Solutions, that's using AI to optimize crop yield predictions.
Wait, so like knowing exactly what crops need and when they need it, that would be game-changing for farmers.
It is, but how does it even work? Are there like robots planting seeds?
Ha! Not quite robots. They use satellite imagery and machine learning algorithms. These satellites capture incredibly detailed images of the farmlands.
Oh, I see. So the AI analyzes the images and figures out what's going on.
Exactly. It looks for patterns related to soil health, weather conditions, even potential pest infestations.
Wow. So farmers get a real-time view of their entire operation.
Yep. And the AI can give them recommendations about irrigation, fertilization, pest control, everything.
That's insane. I bet that level of precision could increase efficiency, reduce waste, maybe even help with food security.
It definitely has the potential, but of course there are also concerns.
Like, could this give large corporations even more control over food production?
Exactly. We need to be careful about those potential downsides.
It's a complex issue, for sure. One we'll definitely explore more in the future. But for now, let's move on to our last topic for this part of our deep dive. The EU's attempt to regulate AI.
Oh, yeah, I've been hearing a lot about that. Why is the EU taking the lead here?
Well, they're kind of acknowledging the huge impact AI is going to have and trying to establish some ground rules.
Makes sense. It's a powerful technology. What kind of concerns are they addressing?
They're worried about things like transparency, accountability, fairness, especially in sensitive areas like healthcare, law enforcement, even hiring practices.
Oh, wow. So they're thinking about AI in, like, all aspects of our lives.
Pretty much. It's about finding a balance between using this technology and protecting fundamental human rights.
Do you have any specific examples of how these regulations might actually work?
Sure, one area they're focusing on is AI in hiring.
Hmm.
Imagine an algorithm screening job applicants and potentially excluding qualified candidates based on, like, their age or gender or ethnicity.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't be good.
So the EU wants to make sure those systems are transparent and accountable, and that humans are ultimately responsible for hiring decisions.
That's good to hear. What's the reaction been to these proposed regulations?
It's a mixed bag. Some people love it, others worry that too much regulation could stifle innovation.
It's a tough call, for sure. What are your thoughts on AI regulation? Is it necessary or is it going too far?
I'm curious to know what our listeners think. Head over to @AI for the People and join the conversation.
It's a topic that affects all of us.
The future of AI is being shaped right now, And your voice matters.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, how these regulations in Europe could end up affecting AI development everywhere else.
That's a good point. It could set a precedent for the whole world. But speaking of the future of AI, there's a ton of other interesting stuff happening beyond those big headlines, right?
Oh, absolutely. There are so many cool innovations popping up right now. It's hard to keep track.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, for instance, AI is making big waves in retail.
Retail, really?
Yeah, it's helping businesses manage their inventory like never before.
Okay, now I'm curious. How is AI changing the way stores stock their shelves? It can't just be recommending products online, right?
No, it's much more than that. Think about it. AI can look at all this data, sales trends, customer preferences, what the weather's doing, and then it can predict what people are going to want to buy.
Wow, so stores know exactly what they need and when.
Yep, that's the idea. Less waste, lower costs, and customers are happier because they can always find what they're looking for.
That's pretty amazing. It's like having a crystal ball for shopping.
Kind of. And retail isn't the only area where AI is quietly making a big impact. It's also transforming healthcare.
Healthcare. In what way?
Well, imagine radiologists being able to diagnose conditions way more accurately.
Whoa, is that even possible?
It's happening. AI tools are being developed right now that can help with that.
Okay, now you have to explain how that works.
So picture this. You have an AI algorithm, right? And it's been trained on tons and tons of medical images like X-rays, CT scans, MRIs, all that stuff.
So it learns to spot things that humans might miss.
Exactly. Even tiny little details that could indicate a problem.
It's like having a second set of eyes, but way better.
That's a great way to put it. And think about it, that kind of early detection could be life-saving, especially for things like cancer.
That's incredible. But I do wonder, how accessible is this technology? Can any hospital just use it?
Well, that's a really important question. Some of these AI tools are expensive. Big tech companies and research institutions are developing them so they can be out of reach for some hospitals.
That makes sense.
But the good news is that there are also open source AI platforms out there, so that could make these tools available to more healthcare providers.
That's good to hear. The more people who can benefit from it, the better. Speaking of making AI more accessible, didn't you mention a Google update?
Oh, yeah. Google updated TensorFlow recently, and it's a pretty big deal.
Can you remind me what TensorFlow is again, and why is this update so important?
Sure. TensorFlow is basically a platform for machine learning. Developers use it to build and run AI applications.
Okay, so it's like a toolkit for AI developers.
Exactly. And this update makes TensorFlow even better. It can handle even more data and run way more complex models.
So it's like giving AI developers a superpower boost.
Huh, I like that. And the best part is this update makes TensorFlow easier for a lot more people to use.
That's awesome. So with all these advancements happening, does this mean we're going to see even more crazy breakthroughs in healthcare, retail, agriculture, everything?
Absolutely. AI is moving so fast, it's hard to even imagine what's coming next.
It's both exciting and a little bit intimidating, to be honest.
I know what you mean.
That's why it's so important to talk about the ethical side of AI. We need to be having these discussions.
Totally agree. We can't just blindly adopt new technology without thinking about how it could affect us.
Right. So what do you think are the most important things to consider when it comes to the ethics of AI?
That's a great question. I think it all boils down to fairness. How do we make sure AI is used to benefit everyone, not just a select few?
It's about making sure it's used responsibly.
Exactly. And that's where our listeners come in. We need your input.
Yes. We want to know your thoughts, your concerns, your hopes for the future of AI. So head over to @AI4ThePeople and tell us what you think. Wow, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive, from disease prediction to AI in farming, and even the EU stepping in to regulate AI.
It's incredible how much AI is already touching our lives.
Seriously. It's not just some sci-fi fantasy anymore. It's really here.
And it's only going to become more integrated into our world from here on out.
Yeah, and that's why these conversations about the ethical implications of AI are so crucial. What happens next is up to all of us.
We need to be proactive, ask the tough questions, and make sure AI is being used for good.
Exactly. How do we prevent bias in algorithms? How do we ensure the benefits of AI are shared fairly? These are things we need to be thinking about.
No easy answers, that's for sure.
But the important thing is that we're having these discussions. We're not just sitting back and letting things happen.
We all have a responsibility to shape the future of AI. It's not just up to the tech companies or governments.
So what can our listeners do to get involved?
Well, first of all, stay informed. Keep learning about AI and its impact. There are so many resources available, online articles, podcasts, documentaries, courses.
And don't forget to join the conversation at AI for the People. We're building a community where you can connect with other AI enthusiasts, share your thoughts, learn from different perspectives.
It's a great way to stay engaged and make your voice heard.
The more we talk about these issues, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the challenges and opportunities of the AI era.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure.
It really is. I think the biggest takeaway from all of this is that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
It all comes down to the choices we make.
So let's choose wisely. Let's work together to create a future where AI benefits everyone.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of AI.
It's a world full of possibilities, and we're thrilled to be exploring it with you. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep imagining the future we want to build with AI.